Joining me for today's headlines is my good friend, Michael Kosta. What's going on, Michael?
Feeling good, man.
Yeah?
I love sitting here. This is fun. I got a great seat.
Well, it's the only seats.
I know. I'm front row seat, watching you perform.
Oh, I appreciate that.
And then I take notes and stuff, and I'll email them to you after. But this is a great seat, you know?
What do you mean notes, like notes about like what I'm doing?
Well, just positive feedback.
Just enjoy it more and don't worry about the criticism, though.
Yeah, okay, got
It's
it.
like we're doing this thing together. Just think of it like that. It's like this thing we're doing here. It's sort of like sex. We're both in it.
Yep,
And I appreciate that you appreciate me, and I'm just trying to appreciate you. But if you send me emails afterwards,
yep.
yeah,
That's
no.
true. That's true. And now that I think about it, that's been one of the issues I've had in previous relationships.
Emailing after
Emailing
sex.
after sex.
Well, we live and we learn, my friend.
Yep, thank you for helping me today.
All right, well, let's do it. Let's get into today's headlines. We kick things off with climate change. It's humanity's way of getting revenge on that Titanic iceberg. Now, some of the biggest victims of climate change are actually going to be island nations, which could be completely swallowed by rising sea levels. And one of these nations is trying to call attention to this danger.
One world leader demonstrating the impact of climate change on his home. Tuvalu's foreign minister recorded his COP26 message in knee-high waters. Island nations like his are particularly vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. Some world leaders at COP26 are asking if wealthy industrialized nations should pay reparations for damage already caused by climate change.
Yeah, that's a powerful image, although next time I wouldn't smile. You know, I wouldn't be in like the water being like, we're dying. It doesn't have the same effect. But it is powerful still. Island nations can't survive if everybody is in waist-deep water. It's a terrible thing. I mean, there is one benefit, and that is you can pee whenever you want and nobody will know. But that won't make up for all the other problems. And I hope a message like this will spur the world to take action, especially rich first world nations. Because if these islands sink, there's a lot of tax haven money that's going to drown. And I know what you're thinking right now. If this means Staten Island goes away forever, then it's worth it, right, Trevor? No. We need to protect all islands. Because think about it. Think about how much islands have given to the world. Without islands, there's no dream vacations, there's no Rihanna, there's no Cool Runnings, there's no more seasons of The White Lotus. And then what are white people going to watch? Huh? Succession? Yeah. I mean, I guess they could watch Succession, but that's one less show. You know what I mean?
White Lotus and Succession are my two favorite TV shows. Did you mention that?
Yeah, I literally just said that now.
I feel like white people love those shows.
Yeah, that's what I was saying.
Oh, right. Right. Do you find it interesting that he had that blue screen behind him in the water? Like, was he trying to change his Zoom background? Doesn't he know that most people make their background a beautiful beach or the ocean?
Well, I think if you live in a place, you try and do the opposite background.
So he would do a city background?
Yeah, he would probably do like a tiny apartment in New York as his background.
Right. Well, that's an interesting commentary that we all kind of want what isn't right in front of us. You know?
I don't know if it's powerful. I mean, it's just a little observation that we have.
There was a small observation I made, and you bring up a great point about smiling. I think that image would be even more effective if it was terror on their face. You know?
That's also what I said.
I know. Well, that's what I mean. I'm really absorbing from this seat.
Thank you, Michael.
Yes.
All right, let's move on to our next story, which is about Elon Musk, who is the CEO of Tesla, and Jeff Bezos on Mali. As the world's richest man, Musk gets a lot of perks in his life, right? He has his own space force, he can invent a new language to name his baby, and he can watch Hulu without the ads. Another big thing about being super rich is that Musk basically never has to pay taxes. Yeah, because all his money is in assets like stocks. He doesn't actually earn an income from doing his job, so he doesn't have to pay income tax. So right now, there's a movement in Congress to tax wealth instead of income because of situations like this. And Elon Musk, he hates this idea like it's paper currency. But unlike most super wealthy people who would just like quietly pay off a senator behind the scenes, no, Musk took his fight to Twitter. And he hosted a poll, right? He took a poll asking whether he should sell 10% of his shares in Tesla, which would earn him about $25 billion, which he would then have to pay taxes on. And I mean, even that, people, even that just shows you how wild it is to be a billionaire. You hold a poll on Twitter that says, should I pay taxes? Like, you normal people try doing that shit. The IRS will answer that in person. They'll be at your house. Yo, you send that tweet? What? So how did Elon's poll go? Well, he's definitely paying something.
And the Twitterverse has spoken. Elon Musk asked millions of Twitter users if he should sell 10% of his Tesla shares. The results are in. Nearly 58% of people said yes, while 42% said no.
Tesla down big after Elon Musk asked Twitter users whether he should sell 10% of his stock. That's taking 4.5% out of Tesla.
Yeah, because of Elon's tweet, Tesla's stock crashed instantly. Which should be a lesson. You never take financial advice from random ass users on Twitter. That's what Reddit is for. But at the same time, I actually find this kind of refreshing, you know? I mean, yeah, Elon Musk is unpredictable, but he's the only CEO who's having a good time. He's running Tesla, but he's also the mascot, you know? It's almost like if the Pillsbury Doughboy was also the CEO. That would be so much fun, you know? Just him going around the office telling people to touch his belly button. Don't tell HR about this. And by the way, if he actually ends up paying taxes on that stock, you realize that's going to be like billions of dollars for the United States government all of a sudden. Like just at once. I really hope that you voted in the election last Tuesday, but I really, really hope you voted in Elon's Twitter poll, because that, my friends, is clearly the vote that really matters. Did you vote?
I didn't vote, but I feel for those astronauts flying on a SpaceX rocket ship right now whose toilet broke, and they're wearing diapers, shitting in their own pants, going, I wish someone would fix the toilet. What's our CEO doing? Sending out a Twitter poll? Wouldn't that be frustrating? I think this is a cry for cash. He needs cash. There's a difference between wealth and actually having money, and I think this guy's broke, man.
Wait, you think Elon Musk is like he's cash broke?
I don't think he has any cash. I think if you go to Applebee's with Elon Musk, he can't split appetizers with you. You know, he'll smile. He'll be like, oh, "You guys, I'm Elon Musk," and they'll go, "We need $11, dude. Do you have $11? I got stock options. Where's your fucking money, dude?" That's what I'm saying. You know what I mean?
I guess.
Yeah. Who's on Twitter polls? Come on. Children. What do children not have? Money. Do you see how I drew that conclusion?
Yes, I do.
Perfectly.
Yeah. Totally. That's a really interesting way of seeing things.
Thank you.
I'm glad I have you here, Michael. All right, finally, let's talk about Joe Biden, President of the United States and baby boomer with Gen Z teeth. After a rough few months, Biden just had a pretty good weekend. Congress finally passed his big infrastructure bill. The economy added more than 500,000 new jobs. And daylight savings means it's not as weird when he falls asleep at 5 p.m. Unfortunately for Biden, the story most people are talking about is this one.
Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall, just can't stop talking about President Biden's faux pas in Glasgow at the climate conference last week. He apparently passed wind in front of her, with a palace source claiming his own emissions were long and loud and impossible to ignore.
So, let me translate that for you. Passing wind is farting. Yes, Joe Biden farted. That's what he did. British people are so fancy. He passed wind. Where did he pass it? It sounds like you were going past it. No, he passed wind. The wind was passing through you. That is a fart. We have a word for that. And also, can you really blame Joe Biden? I mean, if you're going to blame anyone, blame British cuisine. You can't serve a 78-year-old man baked beans for breakfast and then act shocked when he blows the doors off the hinges. And Joe Biden can't be happy about this getting out, both the fart and the news about the fart. Because it doesn't matter how powerful you are. Once you fart, no one takes you seriously. Nobody. Like, I don't care who you are. You fart, people stop taking... Like, Jesus could come back today, but if he farted in the middle of it, he'd have to go and chill in heaven for another 2,000 years until we forget. And by the way, just by the way, of all people, the British royal family has no right judging anybody about anything, especially not a fart. You're the last people who can judge. Good heavens, President Biden farted. I simply have to go tell my uncle, who is also my husband, about this, as soon as he gets back from Jeffrey Epstein's sex island. You know what, if I was Joe Biden, I would have just owned this shit, yeah. I would have gone back to the American press, and I would have been like, yeah, I farted, and it wasn't a mistake. I saw the crown. That fart was for Diana. Man.
America believes in farting.
That's what I love about this country.
Yeah, and England is, you know, it's like not proper to fart. That's why you look at so many of the royalty, their face is always like, they're holding it in. right? But America, we believe in the freedom to fart. That's why the American flag is always waving. That's how George Washington crossed the Delaware, you know? The Statue of Liberty, that torch is eternal because they hooked up a hose from her butthole all the way up to the torch.
Well, I don't know if that's true,
It's true.
but I'm glad that you were proud.
Yeah, I'm proud of that, the American farts.
That's powerful.
Yeah, it's like the nation, powerful. You know what I mean? I think we solved it, dude. Thank you.
Well, thank you, Michael. And thank you so much for being here. I look forward to your email.